Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live show and is a call-in show. So you are welcome to call in and ask questions regarding a topic of the day, which, as this is the first Monday of the month, it's Open Line Monday. So anything regarding your health that you have questions about or anybody else, please feel free to call in 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. As I mentioned, this is the first Monday of the month, so this is what we do, Open Line Monday. Everybody have a great weekend?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah?
Gorgeous weather.
Oh, it was beautiful weather, And I think one of the bad, I don't want to say the bad things about this beautiful weather we're getting is allergies.
Oh, yeah.
Which leads us to the first question that I got messaged to me over the last several days. I get allergies real bad in the spring when everything starts blooming, and it is right now.
Oh, definitely.
Azaleas are gorgeous. Is there anything I can take to get a jump and help my system?
Several things, and it really usually takes more than one thing. I mean, occasionally we'll find somebody that something simple will work really great for them. We've got an allergy support formula that we put together, and it works great. I've had a lot of people that just swear by it because of the, especially right now. I mean, even some people are just prone to allergies all year round, but now it's really bad. I mean, when everything, your car is yellow. So it's really, really bad right now. And so that allergy support, it works great.
Yeah, the good thing about the allergy support is it doesn't increase your blood pressure. No. It doesn't make you sleepy, doesn't make you awake, so it's not one that, it's like it's not a stimulant, it doesn't make you drowsy, so you really don't know you took it other than your allergies are better. Mm-hmm. So that's one good thing about it, and it can be taken with pretty much any medication. So that's the good thing about it too, because it's like I said, it doesn't affect high blood pressure or anything like that. So, and it does help, and there's no doubt. Some people take it year round, like me, and then some people just take it this time of the year when the pollen is everywhere. So it is definitely one of the things we use the most. The other thing that we use almost as much is something called Allergena. The Allergena is totally different. It is a homeopathic formula, which homeopathic means they put a drop of something in a whole vat, and so it's kind of, but it desensitizes you to the trees, flowers, and grasses in this area.
And it's by area.
It's by area. So like I said, you have a different, we're zone 2 is what, on that company's, we're zone 2, there's other zones. We carry zone 5 too, because we get a lot of people from Texas that order it. So, I mean, it's that way. But that is one that, it definitely makes a difference too. When we get a lot of people that start getting dizzy and they have the vertigo due to the allergies, and it really makes a difference.
I happen to be one of those. And it
so
probably works better on me for that, especially, because like I say, allergies, sometimes I get up and you just want to keep going, it's like, oh my goodness.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hate that feeling.
And then we even have one for pets.
Yeah.
Really?
I give it to my dogs. I give it to my dogs every day.
Sure.
I don't wait until they have a problem, but I mean, it's actually, you know how when pollen starts, they start itching and scratching and acting crazy.
Oh, I know, there's nothing cuter than a chihuahua with the sneezes.
Yeah.
So we also have one for pets.
What about, I mean, you hear people say all the time, get honey, but be sure it's local.
It has to be local to your area.
To your area.
And that kind of works.
The only place you can get that is like one of the
markets.
farmers markets or someplace here.
We keep it at the store, because we have some local beekeepers so it's very local.
Well, and the reason why it helps is very similar to the product Allergena. It has some of the pollens from the area that you're in. That's why it's important for it to be local. Yeah. Because if it's not local, it doesn't have the pollens in your area, so it doesn't desensitize you to the allergens. And so, like I said, honey is good. If you're diabetic, though, honey is still sugar.
Yeah.
So
I remember you used to have honeybees.
Yes.
Yeah, because I helped you rob the hive one time.
Yes.
That was a thrill.
We're going to get back into it.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to start doing it again, but
the county was trying to keep down the mosquito population, kind of eliminated my bee population, but we're going to get back into it.
Oh, good. Well, good. Okay, I got another question from someone says, what do you have for hot flashes?
Well, hot flashes, it depends on the person. Hot flashes are different in every woman. They really are.
They truly are. If you've got 100 women, it's going to be 101
it's going to be different.
Causes.
Now, we have something called Estravera that a lot of people say works wonders. We have something called Metabalance, which helps balance the hormones. And then one of the things we've been using a lot lately is basically it's a bioidentical estrogen cream, but it's an estriol cream. So it's a very, very weak estrogen, but it definitely helps. And so it depends on the person, depends on how severe the problem is, depending on what else is going along with it, and it depends on what point of menopause they are in.
Yes.
Because sometimes progesterone cream will help if it's early and you're not quite through menopause yet and you're more in perimenopause and the progesterone's what's falling, then that'll help. So really, everybody's different, so that's what we tell people, come in, call, we'll look at your specific situation, your needs.
Can men get hot flashes?
Yes, they can, especially what we see, some of the men that get put on hormone blockers for prostate cancer, they definitely get hot flashes. Yeah. And I have had men that come in that weren't on medication, but their testosterone fell quickly and they had hot flashes. So it's really a drop in hormones, and I mean, it doesn't happen as quickly as in men as it does. Of course, we see way more women, but I definitely have seen it. Multiple times, actually.
Okay. Let's see, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. If you have any questions, this is Open Line Monday. Another question, what supplement is good for preventing bone loss?
Well, there's several. Okay, there's not specifically one. But one of the biggies in bone, remodeling and so on is vitamin K2. I mean, if you look at the data, the research and so on, because everybody gets their bone scan, they come in, they say, they told me to take 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. Probably a bad idea if you're just going to take too much calcium. They've shown over the time that just taking one nutrient like calcium could actually cause some issues. Now, to actually take calcium to the bone takes 3 nutrients. One is vitamin A, and vitamin D is the other one. That actually makes something called osteocalcin. It's a hormone, actually a hormone from your bone that actually tells the body to bring calcium back to the bone. But to activate it takes the K2, and K2 is sorely lacking in the American diet.
Which is one reason when people have a vitamin D deficiency, which we see in many or most people, we use a product called ADK2.
Right.
Because that way you have your A, you have your D, and you have your K2 together. Yeah. So it's all of them together. Now also for bone density, a lot of times with the ADK2, we will use something called ostenol. Ostenol is what they call a bone morphogenic protein. So it stimulates bone growth. And so it does work well. We've even had women in the 80s actually increase their bone density using the ADK2 and the ostenol. Now, you do need some calcium in some people. Now, everybody's different, and again, that goes individually. Some people need more calcium than others, and we look at lab work and we can determine if you're one of those that needs it. We do have something called Osteo Essentials. The Osteo Essentials is a special type of calcium called microcrystalline hydroxyapatite. MCH, and that is one of the better calciums to use for bone density. But then it has your other nutrients too, your magnesium, it has boron, it has all the other minerals and nutrients needed to also help with bone.
Okay.
So
896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. It's Open Line Monday. Going to take a break and come right back. And welcome back. It's our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition. We do this every Monday morning, a live call-in show. And today is Open Line Monday, which you can call in and ask questions regarding anything about health issues, because this whole show is about trying to help you live a healthier lifestyle, no matter how old you are.
Right.
From young people on up. I mean, you have stuff that you talk about that you can dip your finger, touch into, and give
to a baby.
Give to a baby.
An infant, yeah.
Infants,
yeah, there's some things, I mean, like I said, all ages, and we always stress over and over prevention. Don't wait until you have a problem. Don't wait until you're sick. Try to prevent.
Exactly. Another question in, can you recommend something for your brain? I seem to forget things from one moment to the next.
What was the question? No, it's really, that's probably, we get that one probably daily. I mean, seriously.
We do.
Or more than once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are concerned about it. And we're going to do a show this month on that.
On dementia.
Specifically, dementias and so on. And it's kind of interesting because, we got a lot of different things. I mean, you know, sometimes just the simple basic nutrients, the B12 and things like that.
B12 is a big one. We see a
Huge.
lot of B12 deficiency, even in younger people.
Yes.
They'll be 20 or 30 and say, I'm getting to where I can't remember, and it's because they have a B12 deficiency when we do the lab work. So B12 and folate are so important neurologically for the body. And so those are things you kind of have to have. I mean, really. The vitamins and minerals and like that are things that you absolutely have to have.
Right.
I mean, they are vital to health and life. When you start getting into some of the herbals, those you're never deficient in an herbal, but it works more like a natural medicine. So it's more like something natural that can actually increase circulation or more brain food or things like that. Now, another one of the basic nutrients, or I call it a basic nutrient, is omega-3.
Oh, it's it's essential, really.
It really is. The body needs omega-3s to make all kinds of things. And so omega-3, which is, we like fish oil. That is the one that we prefer over flax, is fish oil. And so fish oil is essential, B12, that's where I would start. That's where I always tell people start with that. And then if you need more things, we have something called Memory Core, we have something called Memory Pro, we have something called Neurologics, we
got a whole bunch of stuff.
We have all kind of stuff, and everybody's kind of different. We ask questions, find out what problems you tend to have. If you have a circulatory problem, that's one thing, because actually natto helps with circulation, can help with some inflammation. So it really, everybody, again, like we talk about all the time, people are different, and we don't charge to talk to people. So if you have a question and you want to know what's best for you specifically, just give us a call.
All right. I got a question. When I get up after sitting down for long periods or even after waking up from sleeping, my feet hurt. The pain is at my heels. What could be the cause of this?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it could very well be that it's from depending on how old the person is, could be some arthritic changes, maybe even in the lumbar spine, the low back, that can cause pain.
Or even in the foot.
Or even in the foot itself,
Or it could be plantar fasciitis actually will definitely hurt first thing in the morning. Now, it tends to get better after you get going, but some of the arthritises also get better as you get going.
As you move.
Because a lot of arthritis is worse as you just sit. And it stiffens. And when you go to move, it hurts. Well, and once you get loosened up, it's better. So we do have stuff for arthritis, like the Pertamax is probably one of the better things for that. And if it is like the plantar fascia, then things like bromelain tend to help. And then there's even some exercises that you can do when you do get up. So that could be a lot of different things.
You know, the thing about joints, and this is why sitting, standing, whatever, very long periods of time, the joint lubricates. The way our body's designed is through movement. So if we move, we lubricate the joint. If we don't, we just sit, the joint becomes stiff, and we're going to have micro inflammation or inflammation in a very small area around that joint capsule and so on. And that's what really sets up a lot of that pain stuff. So keeping moving is a big thing. Of course, when you sleep,
when you
obviously,
sleep, you can't
do that.
Mine will do that. I'll wake up first thing in the morning when I first get out of the bed. You know, the soles of my feet will, tingle a little bit and you burn it, but as soon as I take a few steps, I'm fine.
Then you're fine, And it's unfortunately a sign of aging, I guess. Hate to use that word.
I was going to say, I thought we were going to use more
mature.
Yeah, maturing.
There you go. Another question, is it really important to consume some protein after a workout?
Well, you have to have protein to rebuild a muscle that you just tore down while you were exercising. So, sometime after, and it's best to do it after, not before.
Right.
I mean, you want to do it, so you want to consume some.
But you don't have to be excessive.
No.
We see some people that come in and they're taking 200 and 300 grams of protein. That's a little much on your kidneys. So actually, you want adequate protein, because you want your muscles to be able to repair.
Right.
And so you do want adequate, but you don't want it excessive.
And a variety of type proteins is really a good idea. Different types. That's why we eat different kinds of meats.
Because you get different amino acids from different types of protein. There's a little bit different amino acid profile in each protein. And proteins are amino acids. So, and amino acids are used for brain chemistry too. So when you talk about even the memory a few questions ago, that makes a big difference as well. Making sure you get protein. And people don't realize protein deficiency makes weight gain. So even some of the people that are gaining weight, it's because they're not getting enough protein.
And we see that one constantly.
Really?
We do.
Yeah, we do. We see it constantly. And you know, there's an unwarranted fear in America, and it's fear of fat.
Yeah.
You know, and they think, well, I can't have that chicken because it's got too much fat. Really? I mean, chicken doesn't have much fat.
No.
I mean, you know, but that's the fear factor that they're working on, and it really makes it tough.
I mean, they tell you shouldn't eat the skin. But
okay.
You know,
well, if it's grass, you know,
actually,
wild,
a lot of it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, we got less than a minute here, and we've got a few more questions, and also we're going to come back with this week's special. So again, our phone lines are open at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. We have another question just got called in. We'll answer that one when we come back. Yeah. And welcome back. It's our final segment of this morning's live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. Let's go ahead and look at our special of the week for this week.
Now, liposomal C, you know, we stress taking vitamin C because it's so good for us in so many different ways. It even helps with, you know, it's like the person that called in about their feet and their back and all that hurting. But you have to have C to repair tissue, to make collagen. Very, very important in the human body, plus a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
too.
People think about it for the immune system, and there's no doubt that it's good for the immune system. Right. And people don't want to let their guard down now that COVID is not as rampant.
Right.
Don't let your guard down because, you know, there's still viruses out there, there's still COVID out there, there's things every day. So you want to keep your immune system up. Yeah. Now the liposomal is much different delivery system that makes it so much more absorbable. Best vitamin C out there is 19% absorbable. When you get liposomal, it's 93% absorbable. So you get much better absorption with a liposomal form of vitamin C. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that pretty much everybody can take. You can give it to kids. It's a liquid. So we decided to put something on sale that everybody can take. And even with all these allergies out there,
really
vitamin C has been shown to help support allergies as well. So.
Okay. Another call in. What can I do to help lower or reduce my anxiety? I'm not very interested in taking any sort of medication. I'm wondering if there is another way to manage it.
There's all kinds of ways to manage stress. You know, and I mean, a lot of things, you know, one of the probably the most common thing that we'll start out with is something called theanine, back to the amino acid. This is an amino acid. And it really helps to kind of calm the brain down. And doesn't make you drugged or anything.
No, doesn't make you drowsy.
It keeps you
It actually changes the brain waves.
Right.
And it actually helps with anxiety and panic attacks, but at the same time, it makes you focused. So that's one of the good things about theanine is it makes you very focused. Now we have Kava, which also helps with anxiety. We have 5-HTP, which 5-HTP helps with serotonin, which a lot of times increase in serotonin helps depression and anxiety. Now, make sure you get enough sunlight. Sunlight plays a huge role in depression and anxiety. So that makes a difference. You know, just calming, meditation. One of the big things we see on lab work that it goes along with a lot of people's anxiety that we see is the high cortisol. So if you have high cortisol, which is the stress hormone, it makes a lot of anxiety. Yeah. And we see many people that have that, and we have something called cortisol soothe that plays a huge role in lowering that. We have something called GABA that helps lower it and help anxiety. We have phosphatidylserine. There are so many different things. Again, we'll see what's best for you, but having your lab work done to make sure there's not problems that's going on that you don't know about. Thyroid problems make anxiety. Like I said, adrenal problems make anxiety. There's an aging hormone. They call it an aging hormone because as you get older, it gets lower. As it goes down, you don't handle stress as well either. So if that's really low, you can supplement that a little bit to help handle stress better. So there's a lot of different things. And, you know, some people exercise helps anxiety, but then over-exercising can cause anxiety.
It really can. It's actually, the science is telling us that over-exercise is actually not good for us. But never overlook the probiotics. Because the gut makes most of our brain chemistry, neurochemistry we call it, and so if we don't have the right kind of microbiome going on in the gut, we're going to have a hard time making those chemicals, which can cause anxiety, depression, so on and so forth.
Okay. My upper shoulder and the middle of my back hurt pretty bad the other day. Would that pain be caused by the way I sleep on my pillow or the way I sleep in general?
It can be both.
Could be either one.
Could be either one. Now, if it went away pretty quick after you got up, it probably is something to do with sleeping. And it can be your mattress, it can actually be your pillow, or it can be the position that you put yourself in while sleeping. There's no doubt staying in a position for a certain amount of time can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one because, you know, when you go to sleep, sometimes your body just kind of gets in these distorted positions, and you wake up and you think, oh my God, how did I get here? You know, am I going to ever get out of this? You know, so yeah, especially the more mature we get.
I like to sleep with a pillow down beside me so I can throw my leg over it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got like one on each side of me. It doesn't matter which way I turn, I got a pillow.
Yeah, all right.
But the pillow and the mattress that you use is so important for.
That's one thing that I did here a few months ago.
Your
I
mattress?
did invest in a new mattress,
right?
Because the other one I had was like 17 years old.
Yeah,
and
yeah, and the support from it, like I said, everybody's different on where they like firm or where they like soft, but you got to kind of see what's best for you.
Yeah.
But the pillow definitely makes a giant difference.
Huge difference.
Okay. Another question here. I love to try intermittent fasting to lose some weight, but I've always heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Can I start my fast in the middle of the day and still get good results?
Well, the thing you need to do is you need to get away from thinking that breakfast is at 6 o'clock in the morning. Breakfast means break the fast. That's where it came from. Breakfast was breaking the fast, overnight fast or whatever. So it doesn't matter whether you have break the fast at 6 or 7 or at noon or 1 or 2. I mean, that's totally,
right.
You know.
I love having breakfast sometime for dinner.
Yeah, well, and it doesn't matter, you know. Unfortunately, you know, some of the big people in the grain business, you know, we won't mention any names, but they have convinced us that breakfast food is made with grains and so on, you know, cereals, etc. And we have to think that breakfast is just breaking the fast.
Right. So
and you do that with any food.
You can do it with any food.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is people have gotten into a bad habit of eating late.
Right.
And then eating first thing when they wake up, and the body don't have time to recover from all the processing that it has to do. So that's kind of why intermittent fasting has been shown to cause, you know, really good results. Now, I always tell the people that ask me about intermittent fasting that it really depends on your schedule. You got to look at when you go to work, when is your times that you can eat, and you need to tailor the intermittent fasting around there and eat all your food in 6 to 8 hours of the day. Now, if you're one that can start at 10 and end up 4, that's probably one of the better things because you're not eating too late.
Right.
So 10 o'clock's not really too late to eat breakfast. So everybody's a little bit different,
Yeah.
and schedule plays a huge role in it on when you can eat.
Yeah.
Because people that don't work though, I would actually pick something like 10 or 11 to 4 or 5,
Yeah.
and then after that, don't eat, and then you can have all the water you want during that time.
Mm-hmm. They've done some interesting studies, and they did a study with mice. Poor little guys, you know, they only live a certain, like 2 years or so, so we can kind of watch them, you know, and see if we can increase their lifespan. And they took 2 groups, and they took one group and they said, they're going to consume X number of calories per day, and here we're just going to put it in there and let them just eat it whenever they want to. The other group, they did the quote-unquote intermittent fasting model where they withheld food until a certain time, and they got the same amount of calories. The group that got the intermittent fasting type routine lived 20 to 30% longer than the group that got the free-range food. Same amount of calories, same caloric intake, identical.
I always try to not eat past 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Good idea. Real good idea.
Like I said, 7's a little late, but your schedule.
Still
you're working,
right.
so then you like I
Right.
said, you got to go by your schedule. That's kind of what we do on days we work, but you know it changes when we don't work.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, this wraps up this week's show, and next week we're talking about.
We're going to talk about it is IBS Awareness Month in April, so we're going to talk about IBS.
All right. So if you have any questions, be sure you write them down and get ready to call them in next Monday. And we will see you again next Monday morning at 9 o'clock here on WLOX CBS for another edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. Thank you for being with us this morning. Have a wonderful week.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.